Hello, friends. I'm here with another great book. And all this week, as I told you on Monday, we are talking about feelings. And feelings are pretty important. So I'm happy that we are spending some time on those. And I want you to look at the book that I have today. The name of it is The Feelings Book. And the author is Todd Parr. He is the one that wrote the words in our story, and he's also the illustrator. He did all the great illustrations in the story. So let's look at the pictures in on the front cover, and I want you to look at each one, and let's see if we can name what that person's feeling. So look at this picture and just say how you think that person's feeling. Did you say happy? Yeah. Now look at the one here next to him. Ooh, can you name that feeling? How do you think that person is feeling? I see tears, right? And that's a big sign to me that this person's probably sad. And then I look at this picture and I notice right away that her frown is upside down. How do you think she's feeling, friends? Do you think that she's upset or angry? Look at her eyebrows. See how her eyebrows and her eyes look? All those things on people's faces give us clues as to how they're feeling. Now, look at this guy right here. His mouth is open and his eyes are big. What do you think he's feeling right now? Can you name that feeling? Did you say maybe surprise or excitement? I think that's probably how I would name those feelings. Well, friends, I have our chart here, and we talked a little bit last time about the illustrator in our story and how they often show more than the author says in the text. And so, as we're looking at our story today, I want you to be looking at the illustrations and thinking about how the author and the illustrator are working together and how the illustrator often shows us more things in the illustration than the author said in the text. So let's get started. Sometimes I feel silly. Sometimes I feel cranky. Ooh. Sometimes I feel cranky in the mornings, friends. Do you ever feel cranky? You're just grouchy for no reason? Now, look over here at this illustration. The author's words said, sometimes I feel silly. But I want you to notice that the illustrator showed us what silly looks like. He showed us a little bit more, right? He showed us have you ever done a silly face like that? So there's one way, right, that the illustrator is showing us more. Sometimes I feel scared. Can you make your best scared face right now? Think of something that really scares you. I can tell you that seeing a spider on my bedroom wall, that really scares me. Sometimes I feel like standing on my head. Sometimes I feel like reading a book under the covers. That's a good feeling, isn't it? Do you ever read under the covers? Sometimes I feel like celebrating my birthday, even though it's not today. Do you ever feel like celebrating your birthday when it's not your birthday? Sometimes I feel brave. Sometimes I feel like looking out the window all day. My cats like to do that. They look out the window. I call it their television. Sometimes I feel like dancing. Do you feel like dancing? Sometimes I feel like making mud pies. Sometimes I feel like I have a tummy ache. Look at that face. And I love how the illustrator put the X on his tummy. Tummy aches are not fun, and they don't feel good, do they, friends? Sometimes I feel like holding hands with a friend. Sometimes I feel lonely. Sometimes I feel like yelling really loud. Sometimes I feel like staying in the bathtub all day. Sometimes I feel like trying something new. Sometimes I feel like dressing up. Sometimes I feel like doing nothing. Now, you know what I love about the illustrations on this picture? Think with me on this page. How did the illustrator show nothing? Tell someone in your family how the illustrator showed that he feels like doing nothing. Because he didn't draw anything. He didn't illustrate anything, did he? I love that. Sometimes I feel like camping with my dog. Sometimes I feel like crying. Have you ever dropped your ice cream off of your cone? That would make you cry, wouldn't it, friends? Sometimes I feel like a king. No matter how you feel, don't keep your feelings to yourself. Share them with someone you love. So, friends, right now, tell someone in your family how you feel right now. How do you feel today? Name your feelings for them and see if they already knew it. So, let's think back to our book, and I want you to name some of the feelings that we read about in our book today. Can you tell someone in your family the different feelings that you heard in our book as we were reading? Did you think about uh, feeling like dancing or feeling sad? Name some of those feelings. Now, which character in our book would you most like to be? I was thinking about that one, and I think that I would most like to be the one who likes to be silly because sometimes I just like to have fun. Which one would you like to be? Now think about which one you would not want to be, friends. And you know what I was thinking? I would not want to be the one who had the tummy ache. That's who I would not want to be because I do not like tummy aches. Tell someone which character you would not want to be like today. So, friends, I want you for your writing today. It's going to be pretty simple. You're going to write about sometimes I feel like, and you're going to finish that sentence and illustrate it. So you might write, sometimes I feel like being silly. And then you could illustrate a picture of yourself being silly. And I want you to think about our chart and try to show more in your illustration. You know, we talked about illustrators show more. So if your text says, sometimes I feel like being silly. So in your illustration, show what being silly looks like. Show a little more. Well, I hope you have a good day, friends, and I will talk to you again soon.